Hi everyone. I'm going to recap my trades from today. Um, just a really slow and uneventful day until like the last couple hours for me. Um, the first trade I took, um, really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it. Just I was kind of stuck on another stock and not really paying attention. And happened to overhear Mike in chat, and then I just was like, okay, I paused for a little bit and then waited to look to see what he was looking at and, what everybody was excited about. And I happened to see it. And, once I quickly kind of looked to see what was going on and understood, I went ahead and got in. It was right close to the VWAP. I knew I was chasing, but I only went in 50 shares. And normally when this happens to a stock, it just sometimes it just goes parabolic. And I was just looking to try to catch some of that move. So I went in with 50 shares, and I said, my stop was going to be below the 20 because that was kind of what I was going to base this trade off of. And I got in and I started to add another 50 shares here, but I was keeping some of my buying power open for this other ticker that I've been watching all day. So I got in and I held it, and I thought about taking it at VWAP, but then I said I'm only in 50 shares. Let's see what it does. You know, I mean, I'm already up. Um, just let it go. If it comes back too much, I'll go ahead and take it off. But I just let it work. It held VWAP, and it kind of moved up, and I just held through this. Started to take it on this pop because 124. So I got in at 106.06, I believe, and I was hoping to get $20 out of it. Once I saw this, and it came back down, and I began to worry about it, and I said, well, my stop's going to be a close below the 9. That will still give me profit, and then still give me an opportunity to let the trade work. So it recovered, started inching back up again. And I think this thing went up, popped up to 123 something, and then it came back. And when it came back, I went ahead and took profits on it. And had I held, I'd have got my $20, a share on it. But hey, that's fine. I'm happy with what I got. It was a little chase, wasn't a real setup. I mean, I didn't get to vet this ticker. I don't have any daily lines support or resistance drawn or anything. It was just a reactive trade. And I've seen these before when a company gets halted and, I guess because the SEC or whoever doesn't believe the news that came out. And then they come out with a press release and, bam, the stock takes off. But so I was just kind of playing that angle. I didn't really call it out in chat because I didn't want anybody chasing it like me. This isn't something that we preach and that you really should practice. This was just a lucky hit, so to speak. I did use some thought in it. I did think about the news and the whole situation, but I wouldn't call it out and advise people to get in like that. So I just didn't call it out. It wouldn't have made sense at the time. Um, but that was my trade on VRX. That pretty much made my day. You can see with just a small position, 50 shares. And, you can see I hadn't really looked at my P&L yet, so I don't even know what I made on it. But I know I made a pretty good, pretty sized chunk on it. And my next trade was VMW, and this was the one that just gave me a headache from the start. I mean, you got this big rundown. I knew it was too early here, and it stayed below the 9, so I continued to watch it. And I figured we were going to get a nice dip. I thought this might have been it at first. This was when I really started looking closer at it. But then here's what I really want to see. I mean, yeah, I probably could have taken it here, but who's to say this wouldn't get stuffed at the 9 again? You know, right here, some people probably took it thinking that it was going to move up based on the price action, but you see, it just got stuffed at the 9, and it just ran it back down. And it takes volume really to get this thing to pop. And I really, at this point, I didn't think it was going to make it. It got over the 9, but then the 20 had come in. And if the 20 is this close, I'm not taking it because there's just no room. Even if I got in and say there was about 50, 60 cents between the 9 and the 20, I would take it because I could still get a decent profit even if it got stuffed at the 20. But this came in, so I waited. And I waited till I got a close over the 20, and I got in. But once I got in, you can see the price action. It was just frustrating. You know, it traded, I guess, sideways for almost an hour. And, you know, at this point, I just felt that this thing just wasn't going to go. So I was going to wait for a pop to take it off, which I did right here. You know, I got it to pop up and I caught it, and sold it. Because really I had to leave anyway. It was time for me to go pick up the kids from school. And I usually have to leave about 3:15 every day. So I wasn't going to hold it. I wasn't going to try to manage it on my phone because every time I've tried that, it's ended pretty badly. But in this case, this would have been a nice, win. This didn't trade anything like I expected it to. I expected it to make a strong move to the VWAP once it closed over the 20. It didn't. This just wasn't what I was looking for. So I don't feel bad about getting out of the trade when I did. Yeah, I'm upset that it made this move, after me watching it and waiting so long. But, I feel good about my exit. It's what I had to do. I was managing my risk because I'm not going to leave anything hanging out there. I had a trade that I was holding and was waiting for the move and was going to manage it on my phone. Got out there and the app froze up on my phone. I couldn't get out the trade and ended up losing some money. So didn't want to get into that this time. But this is exactly the setup I look for. When price action slows down and the volume dies down, you usually don't get anything, but you see here a little volume came in, you got a nice little pop, and it kind of died down again, and then you got more volume come in at the close, and you got it to push up a little bit more. So, all in all, it wasn't a bad trade. Would have given you decent profits if you were patient enough. Obviously, I couldn't do that. So, but, not a bad day. All around, I feel good. VRX, this little trade really paid me today, so I'm happy. I can start, tomorrow on a high note. So that's all I have for today. But if you have any questions or anything, just email me or hit me up in chat. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. All right. See you tomorrow in chat.